Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to make progress fast enough? Like you're constantly sprinting, but never actually getting anywhere. Well, what if I told you the secret to getting there faster is actually to slow down? Welcome to Change Made Easy. Changing your habits, routines, and behaviors is hard. We make it easy. I'm Paul Leviton. I help high achievers who feel stuck bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Traditional self-help doesn't work. It's either too rigid, too generic, or too overwhelming. My approach is different. I simplify change by making it so easy it can't not happen. Using my easier framework, I'll help you create habits, build routines, and mold behaviors that stick, so you can stop struggling and start thriving. It's that easy. The classic Aesop's fable, The Tortoise and the Hare, taught us, slow and steady wins the race. The thing is, slow is not just the way to win, but really it's the only way to go. Not because I want you to take forever to reach your goals, but because trying to speed your way through change leads to you not reaching your goals at all. In this episode, I'm going to explain why going too fast actually delays your progress, why consistency always beats intensity, and how a slower, steadier approach guarantees success in the long run. Think about the last time you tried to change something big in your life. I'm talking about something that is not just a one and done, not a light switch that you just turn on and never think about it again, but something that takes concerned effort over a longer period of time. Maybe you started a new diet. Maybe you went all in on a gym routine. Or you decided to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and journal and meditate like some productivity guru on Instagram told you. And maybe it worked. For a week, maybe two. And then life happened. You got tired. You missed a day. And then two. Then all of a sudden, you weren't doing the thing at all, and you're right back where you started. Sound familiar? Well, that's because you went too fast. You tried to force a massive change instead of building one brick by brick. And fast change is exciting at first, but the thing is it's built on willpower, and willpower always runs out. Sustainable change, on the other hand, is built on a solid foundation, and foundations take time to build. But the thing is, once they're built, and they're there to last. It's kind of like learning to ride a bike. If you've never ridden a bike before, just from the outside looking in, it can seem impossible. Hey, 1 second before we continue. If you're enjoying this episode, if you're learning something from this show, if you're catching yourself saying, man, this is so helpful, this Paul guy is pretty smart. First of all, thank you. But secondly, if that is you, you might have asked, how can I work with Paul? Can he help me create the change I've been looking for? And if you have, you're in luck. Because after 12 years as a coach, both in person and online, for the first time ever, I'm opening up my calendar specifically to talk to you, my podcast listener. Use the link in the show notes to book a completely free coaching session. If you need help with nutrition, fitness, motivation, mindset, basically anything that goes into building your happy, healthy life, then I want to talk to you. Click the link in the show notes and let's chat. I created this podcast to help, and now I want to go deeper. This is the first time I've ever offered anything like this, and I don't know how long it'll last or how long I'll be able to keep doing it, so take advantage while you can. All right, now let's get back to the show. How does that thing stay upright with only two wheels? How do people ride it, let alone with no hands? Why doesn't it just fall over when the wind blows? And then you want to learn to ride the bike, it takes time. It takes effort. You have to pay attention in the moment. Your brain has to zero in on what it's doing. You can't be distracted. You can't be thinking about other things. And you also can't rush through it. You can't force the process to happen faster than it goes. No matter how fast you want it to be done, you can't skip steps. And then, when you actually learn, something clicks. As Malcolm Gladwell put it, you hit a tipping point. And all of a sudden, you don't have to think about it anymore. You can have a conversation. You can listen to music. Maybe you can even text, even though I wouldn't recommend that one. So once you learn to ride the bike, you take the slow effort in the beginning, you get to ride faster as a reward for the slow, intentional input that you put into it. My friend Danny lives in Miami. And when I went to visit him a few years ago, I went to his apartment for the first time and looked out the window and saw that they were doing construction on what would eventually be a huge skyscraper right next door. At the moment, though, it was just a big hole a block wide in all directions. And I said to him, man, that's really going to suck when that thing is finally built. Because at the moment, he had a great view of the water. But once that building was there, his view would be gone. And he just said, man, they've been digging that hole for over 2 years. I'm not worried about it. I went back to visit Danny just 6 months later. And when I got there, his 10th floor apartment didn't have a view of the water. He was looking directly into the windows of a now 20-story skyscraper that was next door and still growing. If you're trying to build a single-family house on a little plot of land, you can grab some lumber at the store today and start building. But if you're going to build a skyscraper that's thousands of feet high, then you might have to spend 2 years building the foundation underground before a single thing even goes up above ground. Whether it's riding a bike or building a massive Miami skyline, the message is clear. You have to take time to build the foundation in the beginning. No matter how slow of a process it is, no matter how frustrating it may be, because the reward that you get on the other side of that is an ease over time going forward. There's a reason slow and steady wins the race is a cliche, because it's true. Neuroscience tells us that habits are formed through repetition, not intensity. Your brain is not impressed by a single super motivated action. It learns through consistency. Small daily actions repeated over time literally rewire your brain. That's how you make new behaviors automatic. And that's why one tiny step repeated for days and months beats one giant leap attempted really hard for a week or two. Think about strength training. If you go to the gym once and destroy your body with a 3-hour workout, you are not going to wake up the next day ripped. You're going to wake up sore and miserable. You probably won't want to go back the next day, but you won't see any discernible change in your body. Now, if you lifted weights lightly even for 30 minutes, 3 times a week, and you did that for 3 months, you would get stronger, you would see results, and there'd be much more chance of you actually continuing to show up and not burning yourself out right in the beginning. The challenge is, though, fast always feels like the right thing to do. It feels like to get strong, you have to go and feel the burn and be sore. It feels like if you leave the gym absolutely smoked, then you made major strides towards your goals, and that's what's going to get you there. Just like if you stay up till 4 a.m. working on your business, it feels productive. But it's actually a short-sighted view that isn't taking the bigger picture into account, like the fact that the next day you're going to be more lethargic, you're going to have less energy and more brain fog. So you're actually not getting out any more by staying up longer hours. So if going fast doesn't work, why do we resist going slow so much? It's simple. You resist going slow because, again, it feels like going slow won't get you the result. It feels like if you're taking tiny steps and you have such a far way to go, these little tiny incremental changes are not enough to get you to the big result that you're after. So it feels useless and you talk yourself out of doing the thing at all. But the truth is, going slow is the only way to actually get results that last. Because slow means sustainable. And sustainable means you keep going. Every time you've tried and failed in the past, it doesn't matter what we're talking about, health, fitness, relationships, finances. Anytime you failed at changing a habit or behavior, it wasn't because you weren't capable. It wasn't because you weren't motivated enough. It was because you tried to go too fast. And I'll repeat that again for emphasis. Whatever you have tried and failed in the past, it's been because you were trying to make it happen too fast, and then when it didn't happen fast enough, you gave up and stopped trying. As a coach, I tell my clients every time in our very first conversation, my job as a coach is to get you to not quit. If I had to boil everything I do down to one sentence, that is it. Because if you keep going, you will get the result. If you do not quit, you will get your goal eventually. It's impossible not to. And that means the only way to fail is to quit. So if the only way to fail is to quit, then why would you quit? Well, it boils down to 2 things. The reason you'll probably quit is because you want it to happen faster. And when you want it to happen too fast, one of two things will happen in my experience. Option one is you get frustrated with the speed that it's unfolding, and you'll say, this isn't working, and you give up because it's not happening at the speed you thought that it should happen. So you're dieting, you lose 2 pounds in a time frame that you thought you should have lost 5 pounds. Says, this isn't working, and that gives you ammunition to want to quit. It's just self-sabotage. Realize something not happening along the timeline that you'd hope that it would is not the same as the thing not happening at all. The second option is you'll say, this isn't happening fast enough, and then you try to speed it up. But the thing is, when you speed it up, it becomes unsustainable. And eventually you quit because you can't keep up with the pace that you've put yourself on. All roads lead to Rome. An example of this is someone saying, well, I'm not losing weight fast enough, so I'll just cut more calories. But when they cut more calories, they start to feel like crap, their hunger increases, and that leads to them saying, well, man, I can't live like this, so I'll just go back to eating what I was doing before. The reality is faster isn't better. Better is better. And when you go slow, you can do it better. You can do it right. You can be more deliberate in your actions. And most importantly, it's not so overwhelming, which allows you to be consistent over time. When you go too fast, it feels like you're getting more done, but that's short-lived. You end up burning out and you end up getting less done overall. So my challenge to you and my action step for this week, stop trying to sprint your way to the finish line. Instead, focus on one small, doable action that you can take today, and then do that again tomorrow. Not perfectly, not all at once, just consistently. That's the real shortcut. All right, if you're ready to start making change easier, you know what to do. Start small, stay consistent, and I promise you will get there faster than you think. This isn't just some children's fable or an overdone wellness cliche. This is a rule of the universe. Consistency and sustainability always win. Going slow leads you to the finish line faster than trying to race through it. Stick to the slow and steady, stick to what's proven, and don't trick yourself into thinking that doing it faster will make you happier. That is change made easy. Before you go, I want to talk to you. Literally. For the first time ever in over 12 years as a coach and 4 years doing this podcast, I'm opening up my schedule to help listeners like you for free. I'm offering a free coaching session to you as a thank you for supporting this show. I help people create their healthy habits and happy lives and create positive change around their health, wealth, and relationships. Whatever you're working on, mind, body, and soul, we can cover it all. If you're struggling, I want to help you build a plan to get through it and past it. So go into the show notes and click the link that says book a free call today. I don't know how long I'll be able to keep doing this, and my schedule will fill up. So if you want to take advantage, make it happen ASAP.